So today we have CJ. CJ, do you want to introduce yourself and share a little bit about your background?
I'm CJ Marsada. I'm a product designer at Southern Company right now. I've been working there for 6 months. I graduated from Avocademy. I did both the foundations as a product designer. That's like my title. I've been working there for 6 months now, but before that, like how I got the job was, or how I became a designer was that I did the Avocademy bootcamp. I did both the foundations and the career jumpstart program. I did that approximately a year ago, a little less than a year ago. So I did the foundations on October last year, and then graduated from career jumpstart around mid-March. Then I got the job. So here I am now, but prior to that, I had no like design experience whatsoever, although I did do art. I've been doing art since I was little, so I think that did kind of help me, but um, it wasn't something that really crossed my mind at all, like doing as for a living. I prior to that, I before the pandemic, I was pursuing a completely different career path. I wanted to become a pilot, but then the pandemic happened, so I thought I would have to go on a more sustainable alternative. Um, at first, it was just like a means of like survival, not being a bum. And but I ended up, as I was doing it, I ended up really enjoying it. So yeah, now like I'm doing UX full time and having fun.
Awesome. Yeah, and also pursuing your pilot's license still, right? Now after the fact. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's funny because sorry, um, Kathy, we were talking. Also, another student, another alumni from Avocademy. She's also working as a full-time designer right now. But she asked me yesterday, like, how I'm doing with my pilot studies and if it's something like I wanna hop back onto, as opposed to like being a designer full time. And I'm like, right now I'm having so much fun being a designer. I see myself in the near future, at least anyway, because I don't look way too far ahead. But I would keep design full time and then flying on the side.
I think a lot of people that watch, this YouTube channel or like listen to our podcasts, like they're trying to figure out if UX UI design is for them. Like I think
Mhm.
everybody kind of knows like they're unhappy with their current state, right? Like they're like, okay, I hate this job, or no, I don't want to study this, or whatever it may be. I need to find something better. When you were in that position that you were like, ooh, maybe like becoming a pilot during the middle of a pandemic is not the smartest choice.
Mhm.
what how did you find UX UI design, and like what like drew you towards UX UI design?
Sure. Yeah. At first, it really was just like a practical choice, right? Because obviously, to this day, the traveling, flying aviation industry is still recovering back. And at that time, the tech was like booming, healthcare and tech, in healthcare, you have to have the vocation and like the passion to do that. Not everyone's, you have to be in the front lines, right? And not everyone is like built for that, or like not everyone you can't just survive there for the money. And I thought, well, I've been doing photography. I've been dabbling with like lots of like software since I was little, and maybe like at first I was like maybe cybersecurity or like being a software engineer, but I was like, cybersecurity is more fun for me because I like problem solving. I mean, I'm not saying like being a developer is not fun, but I wanted something like more like like dynamic, like I could really like put some creative like problem solving in there, some like spontaneity. But the more I looked into it, I was like, I don't know, man. Like you just be staring at like a screen and have to learn all the way like the history of like internet and like all that. And I was like, man, I don't know, like there's gotta be something. So I just kept looking like tech jobs really that's like sustainable, it pays well, and something scalable. But at the same time, I wanted something fun. And for I don't know what it was, I just kept searching. I'm pretty sure like I wouldn't be surprised if I put something on Google, just like fun tech jobs. And one of them, it turned out like for like people who are like visually creative or like want something that's something else. That's when like UX design came up, and before I had no idea about like I didn't know like that was a separate job. I thought like developers would just like front end developers would work on, you know, the front end, like the UI. So I didn't know. So I looked more into it, and at the time, still like, because UX is such a niche field, like, and it just got like established so recently that, you know, there's so many titles, but that's because it's new, right? Not the practice itself is not new, but the people who are UX designers,
Yeah.
like the title is new. So I was still having doubts. So I was like, I don't know, like there's like product designer, UX designer, like UI designer. So I don't know, but you know, I kept getting this targeted freaking marketing from like Facebook and like Reddit and TikTok. So eventually I was like, you know what, I might as well. So I did a foundation boot camp from a different boot camp, and it was all UI. And I was like, you know what, I can see myself doing this. The more I did it, the more I did the class, the more I found myself actually like paying attention, like being present when I'm using like, you know, digital products. So I was like, oh, I get it, like accessibility, responsiveness, and all that. So I was like, you know, I might as well. And so I did it, and I thought I was like an artistic person. I thought I was more drawn into like the visual and stuff. But the more I studied on the course, and the more I looked more into just UX design in general, I found myself actually liking UX work and research work rather than UI. So, but yeah, that's my story. That's how I got into
Nice.
it.
Before we dive into like how you ended up at Avocademy, which I'm sure those targeted ads had a lot to do with it, um, or maybe our TikTok, I don't know. But before we dive into that, what were some misconceptions or like myths about tech industry or like the design industry that you figured out maybe after you started our course or like as you were going through that maybe you were like, oh, yeah, and I'll tell you one that comes up for us a lot. It's like, you know, tech is a really great culture and you can get paid really well. And the only way to break into tech is to become a developer, right? Or a software engineer. So that's like a big myth that's out there that as we try and educate people, we're like, there's so many different roles within tech, right? Did anything else come up for you that you were like, oh crap, like that's actually not what I thought it was, or that kind of like shifted your thinking?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's funny because like it's a two contrasting thing for me. So the first one is like the overarching thing of like getting into tech. Period. You know, like everyone says you have to have like a computer science degree. You have to be a developer. And I was like, I don't want to go back to school. Like I quit school in the first, like I'm not gonna go like 4 years. But then everyone's like, you know, it's lucrative. You get to work with like Fang and get all these swags and like, you know, you live in campus, like all the cool stuff. But in order to get to that, you have to be like, you know, like a genius. You have to like you have to have like a really like solid portfolio already. And I was like, dang, like I don't know, man, like I can't do that, right? So breaking into tech was from the misconceptions from like just the things without having knowing anything yet was it seemed really hard, almost impossible. I was like, I mean, I thought I was like the only way I could get into it was to have like connections, and I didn't have anybody. Like I didn't know anyone in tech, prior to being a designer. And then when I found out about UX design, like you know UX UI design, it was like it was funny because I went from like seeing everyone like getting into tech is impossible to now this another misleading thing of everyone can become a designer. I mean, like no one's stopping you, right? But like the way they say it's like it's super easy, like oh, you know how to use Photoshop, or like you can recognize like the icon for like the crop tool, or like you like art, you like drawing, you like colors, be a UX design. So that's also like a misconception. Like everyone can study like UX design, but saying that it's not that easy. UX is not just the interface, you know, that's more UI, but there's so much more work that goes into being a UX designer. And even after I graduated and I got into my job right now in Southern Company, at first it was like so scary. I didn't want to attend any meetings. I'll talk more about that later. But like I thought I was like, just leave me alone in my corner where I can just be like designing. But it's not like that. So those are definitely the funny like contrasting misconceptions.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, you know, when we started Avocademy, I thought like not a lot of people know it's an option to break into tech to do UX UI design. And like we really set out to just like educate people, like, hey, if you're not super logical and like want to learn how to code, like you can become a designer. And then sometimes we get on calls with people that are considering it and they're like, is it easy? It's like, nothing in life is easy, right? And like,
Right.
we don't want to sell this like fake dream of like, you snap your fingers, give us some money and you'll become a designer. Like, yeah, like it's hard work. Like you have to put in time. You have to like be open to learning new things, develop your communication skills. Like you said, right? It's not just like Figma moving things around. Like there's so much that goes into it. And we can talk about that in a bit, but I'm really glad you brought that up because I think sometimes we post content on TikTok and like the comments that we get are like, it's not that easy, it's hard to find a job. And like our response is like, we never said it was that easy. We just said it was
Right.
possible, right? Like it's hard. Like it's not impossible, but like, and we'll help you, but it's hard work, right? Like it's kind of the overarching theme, which I'm really glad you brought up.
Yeah, I get asked questions like, like you graduated from Avocademy, how was it? On a on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? I was like, I don't want to give you a number because not every experience is the same. Just like how if you work in a company, like say we're coworkers, like my manager could be treating you like shit, but he could be treating me nicely, right? I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to cuss. So like not every like we could be pursuing the same thing, but everything is unique to your own experience. Especially like if you're working with different clients and different types of projects, and that's the thing, like again, it's a lucrative field, right? Like to this day, I sometimes still feel like undeserving of how much I'm making just being a designer. A lot of people they want to get it because they think it's easy and it's easy money. And it's a lot of money. Like it's not, but you can't just keep working towards it if your goal is being a designer, thinking that
it's easy,
money.
yeah, and it just
Yeah, like
I think if it were super easy, right, everybody would be doing it successfully. Whereas like I think what we want to say is like the opportunity's there, right, to make 80, 90, $100,000. Like you see inside of Career Jumpstart, like the wins channels, there's people, our highest to date has been like $187,000 starting salary, which is crazy, but and that's where you can be.
Everyone can. Yeah,
It's not
you don't see
everybody.
anybody
Yeah.
posting on wins 180.
Yeah. So like it's possible, but the people that are getting these jobs have put in a lot of work to get there, right?
Exactly.
Let's talk about that just briefly. Kind of why did you decide to do Avocademy after you've done that like little UI program? And then if you can just talk to like the time, right? Like foundations 2 months and then the real projects and like looking for work, just like a little bit of your experience there.
Yeah, sure. So why I decided Avocademy? So I did the foundation from like design labs, right? The reason I did it was because it was fairly inexpensive. It was $500 and for a foundational course. So for me, I thought, I might as well, like if you really want to learn something, you got to invest in it, right? You can't just be expected to like be given something for free and run with it. So I did it, and as I was finishing the course, I was getting ready to like prepare for the next part of it, which is like their design academy, which is still can I say this? Like a lot of boot camps out there, especially the biggest one, like Springboard and General Assembly, is like 16K, and I was like, damn, 16K is a lot of money. Like, sure, it's cheaper than going to university, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And like you see all these like marketing things that you can become a designer and you can get paid a lot, but again, there's no guarantee that you can become a designer. You can get paid a lot. Like, sure, like you might find it something actually easier, but it might not be for you after all, right? Like, I don't know, like I don't enjoy this. So, but Design Labs is like half of that price, and I was like, yeah, I was so ready to just click it, but then I really wanted something that has more like mentorship and career assistance. So I was looking at what are those websites called, Mako, where like you go look up
Course Report and like
Course Report.
Yeah, Career Karma,
Career Karma, those two. So I looked at, you can see them like all listed, and then you can see like the pros and cons, like the website lists that out. And then I saw Avocademy, And I was like, what is this scammy website? I was like, so you get all 5 stars and it says your unlimited mentorship. Because you know what they say, like if something is too good to be true, it probably is. And like for the most part, that's how it works. And I was like, dang, like it's literally a fraction of what you're paying for General Assembly, and you're telling me they have so unlimited mentorship and career assistance, but all the reviews are good, right? It's coming from real people, and then if you look at those real people's name on LinkedIn, they actually exist. They're not like bots. But still, I was sus. I was a little like suspicious. Like I was like, oh, but like, you get what you pay. There's also another saying that you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
But so I took a break for like 3 weeks. I was like, fine, I'm not gonna like enroll in anything. And then that's when I started getting those targeted marketing from you guys on like Facebook and then TikTok and Reddit. On Facebook, I keep seeing Avocademy and like people like asking questions, and then like the founder herself, like Maka, would like respond, and I was like, "Are you kidding? Like, dang, this is scammy." So I was like, the founder herself talks to you. I was like, "That's awesome." And then like, call me if you have any questions. Like, you're not, like you say those things, right, Maka? And I was like, I mean, I might as well, right? I was like, I might as well inquire. Like, it's not gonna hurt. And at the end of the day, I still want to do it regardless of which institution I'm going to. I mean, obviously, if it was the better the actual courses in the school is, the better the outcome for me. But as I was considering the price points, I was like, if I might as well, like, it's not a lot of money to lose, and I already started, so I'll just go to Avocademy, and if what they're saying is true, then it's a major win for me. If not, then I still learned something, right? And if I really need to, I guess I'm gonna go on a different boot camp again. So here, the result
here
is
you
right
are.
here. Yes, I'm here. I'm a testament of.
And there was unlimited mentorship. You got unlimited mentorship.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
And
Awesome. So you said you started foundations in around October of last year. And then how long did foundations take you? Did it take you the 8 weeks? Did it take you a little bit longer?
I think it took me the 8 weeks. Yeah, I think it was because I ended around the time I was in module 5 and 6 around Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And those two modules are the busiest.
Yeah.
And Thanksgiving is busy. It took me a little.
Nice. So then you started Career Jumpstart in December or January?
January. I took a break.
Okay, nice. And then you did the 2 real projects. You did 3? You did 3. Yeah, I was like, wait, I feel like you did more. You did 3 real projects, and then you started applying for work. And you are like I need to give a disclaimer before I ask you the next question. This is not, what do they say, typical outcomes or whatever the legal disclaimer is.
This is an anomaly.
Typically, it takes anywhere from 2 to 6 months for individuals to find jobs once they start applying for work. During this time that you were applying, we were seeing people get jobs much quicker, like in the month time frame. But as part of Career Jumpstart, we support you all for 6 months. And then if you're following everything we're doing, we now have a job guarantee, which is just a refund policy, right? That says, like, if you don't get a job by the 6-month mark, but you did everything we told you, you don't have to pay us or we'll refund you. So now that I've explained how it works, how long did it take you to find a job from the moment that you applied to a job?
10 days.
10 days. Yeah. And your job was through the recruiter that we sent you, right?
Yeah. Doing that.
Yeah.
So just like anything out in the world, again, the job search is hard, regardless of what it is you're applying for. It's challenging. When I was doing the applications like organically, right, just sending applications here and there, obviously not all of it got me a chance for an interview, but with the connection with like a referral recruiter, that's why I was able to get a job very fast.
Yeah, and we do have we do referrals, so just like we did for CJ, if we have somebody that's looking for somebody that matches your skills or in your location or whatever your requirements are, we'll match you. We have partnerships with large enterprise companies now where they send us roles and we send them students. Aside from that, we support you. We call it organic. In the organic process of applying for jobs, and very soon we're launching an application automation process where we'll actually apply to jobs for you. I'm currently testing it. It's a lot of fun, and I'll tell you more, CJ, about this after this video recording. But we've been testing it this week. We have a whole team of people applying for jobs for some of our students, and it's been yielding some really interesting results. So I know you didn't get to take part in that, but you had a 10-day job search, so I'm not too yeah, it's okay. I think we're coming up on time here, so I just I want to say thank you for joining me today and having this conversation. If you have an extra minute, I think the question I would ask is, what is some advice that you would have for somebody that is maybe considering breaking into, like, is watching this video and is like, I still don't know if I should do this or not. And I'm not saying necessarily Avocademy, but like, I'm not sure if I should break into tech through UX or design in general.
Right. Yeah, so I'm not advocating design for everybody because I feel like you have to have some type of like, you have to be some kind of like a personality type in order to, if let me just say this, if you think you're the kind of person who can never stay still, you think like you're always like searching things up, you always want to learn something, and if you learn something, you find something worth learning
like
again,
curiosity,
so
right? Like yeah.
Maybe it's just my ADHD talking, but but if you're always curious, right? If you want to keep tinkering things, if you don't mind, even if you have to force yourself sometimes, but if you don't mind having to always refresh your stock knowledge and you always want to keep learning, because I understand not all people is like that, right? Sometimes we just want something that is predictable, and that's fine too. But if you want to be part of something that's like ever evolving, and if you think that is something you find enjoyable and fun, I would really advise like trying. You don't have to like enroll in a course right away, like not even Avocademy, but like just like try looking up more into design. But Avocademy is
on a scale of 1 to 10. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's like wrong. But yeah, if you think being curious is fun, so,
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think that's great advice, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.